Alright, this is going to be my long-awaited video on plastic surgery in Korea, but I don't just want to talk about plastic surgery. That's not really the point. I want to focus on what Koreans think beauty is, the definition of Korean beauty, so to speak. The longer I've been here and tried to broaden my own perspective of what I think beauty is, the more I realize that people here have a kind of narrow view of beauty. Among Koreans, what I hear most often is someone either has beauty or they have Asian beauty. If a girl hasn't had surgery, specifically if she hasn't had the double eyelid surgery, that means her eyes look more Asian. She has Asian beauty. And so I got to wondering, well, what is the opposite of Asian beauty? Does that mean Western beauty? Some of my more skeptical Korean friends like to say that when Koreans get surgery, they try to look more like white people. And I've heard people argue against that. They said, no, even hundreds of years ago, Koreans thought that being fair-skinned was considered beautiful, so it's, you know, a long-standing cultural thing. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's why the older women here carry those umbrellas during the day to shield them from the sun. But you know what? Hundreds of years ago, girls weren't getting nose jobs to make their noses more thin and pointy. The thing is, I think the modern definition of beauty for Koreans, especially when it comes to plastic surgery, it's compatible with the earlier version, with the pre-modern era, but it's not the same. You look at some of the K-pop stars, some of the movie stars, they look not so Korean, not so Asian. That's not just a mere coincidence. I don't personally hate all plastic surgery. I don't think the eyelid surgery is really plastic surgery. Literally, they're not replacing something. They're just putting a cut in what's already there. That would be like me opposing piercings or tattoos, and I don't have a big problem with that. But I don't necessarily like or condone plastic surgery either. A person's eyes can kind of see things that are or aren't natural. I mean, just take CGI movies. You can tell that it's not real. Our eyes have the same kind of thing when it comes to plastic surgery and faces that don't look quite right. The longer I've been here, I've begun to notice it more and more, and I don't like noticing it, but the more I notice it, the more it distracts me, and especially if I have a friend and I meet that friend like a few years later and their face looks completely different, I can't not notice it. When people generally here get surgery, they get the same kind of surgery or their faces start to become sort of the same. Because Koreans have a kind of unified idea of what beauty means. That means when people go to get surgery, they go to get similar things. They go to get their noses thinner, more pointy. They go to get their cheekbone line more narrow, and they end up having a very similar type of face. In fact, there's a term for this. I forget it off the top of my head. There's this one type of face that a lot of girls have. It's a very surgery-induced face, but I see it all the time, and it's sad. But what I really don't understand is what kind of guys like that. I've seen these girls with guys. I'm thinking, what kind of guy wants their girlfriend to look the same as all these other girls? I guess when there's only one standard of beauty and you are dating someone who has that standard, you feel great that you've got the best. For me personally, I believe beauty comes in all different varieties, you know, and you are born a certain way, and what matters is what you do with the way you look. For me, the most beautiful girls are the ones who look unique in a way that's memorable, but they've, you know, made the most of who they are. They style their hair, they wear certain clothing, they wear certain makeup that brings out the best of what they have. And in many cases, I find that to be more beautiful than just changing everything to look like everyone else. So my problem isn't necessarily with plastic surgery itself. Plastic surgery is just a means for people to achieve something that I find rather shallow. Namely, a type of beauty that's not that interesting and that everybody wants. I wish people could train their eye to appreciate people in all their different forms and see beauty in all different things. I think that's kind of the point of life, to appreciate diversity and to appreciate things as they are uniquely. That's why we know the names of certain people, of certain songs, of certain movies, of certain books, because they stand out as individual examples of their respective forms. Well, that's all I gotta say about Korean beauty and plastic surgery.